right, gentlemen, welcome back again. We've got our first timer here. I'd like to introduce Richard Krott.
Thank you. Glad to be here. I'm managing partner with Collective Intelligence.
And I'd like to reintroduce Dieter Neubauer.
Yeah, senior data scientist. So we've talked before.
And I'm Charles Nordine. I'm also one of the managing partners here at Collective Intelligence. So today we thought we would delve deep into the licensing with Power BI and what you get out of a Power BI premium license. And Rich, I thought I'd start with you. So can you tell me the difference? They've got a Power BI basic license and a Power BI premium license. So like, what's the cost difference, first of all, from premium license versus the basic?
Sure. There are a couple different flavors. So you can go, if you're a small, medium business, you can do a Power BI premium per user, which would be a $10 uplift. So instead of the $20 for the pro, you get the premium per user for $30. Or you can go on to full-on capacities, which are full dedicated. You think of them as virtual server units in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
The base one is a P1 for $5,000 a month, which gives you 8 cores at a reasonable price.
Okay. So, I get the impression it's sort of targeted towards mid to large, but they also have some solutions for small business, right?
Absolutely. That was the premium per user I just described.
Okay.
Yes, that's
So,
it, yeah.
It's got all the benefits of the larger package, but by user base. So.
Yeah, and you lose a little bit. Like you don't have the geolocated deployments and some of the more niche problems that enterprises might have. But for the most part, you get all the flavors.
All the cool stuff, yeah.
All the cool stuff, yeah.
So there's a lot of cool features, and I want to go through a bunch of them here that are part of the premium platform that you get in addition to Power BI. So Dieter and I did a video last week on the cognitive services, and maybe just give them a quick overview.
Yeah, that's one of the features for that is with the cognitive services, you can, with your premium, whether premium per user or premium in a group, that you can use AI and machine learning to that cognitive services, text analytics, insights, or some other things. So there's a lot of good features with that whole pack that come with it.
Yeah, and check out our previous video if you'd like to learn more about that. So Rich, one of the next features is one of the biggest ones. I'm kind of surprised it's not part of the basic, which is paginated reports.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, paginated reports is the extension of the SQL Server reporting services. So that a lot of people might remember. It's a bit better. It's in the cloud now. It's part of the Power BI platform. So you can build pixel perfect documents and reports for generating invoices or
regulatory
reports, mail merge type stuff, be able to combine static images, one-off labels and values combined with tabular information all together in one.
If you ever want to print it or want to have someone look at it that way,
Yep, good for distribution, good for printing and mailing, things like that. Yeah.
And then publishing is a much more robust feature when you have Power BI Premium. So they have like pipeline publishing, for instance. And Dieter, can you delve into that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I think if we didn't talk about it, we will.
Mm-hmm.
With pipelining, you can build a report in a dev environment and get it tested and actually automate the process to push to another workspace production. So it actually helps with the whole governance piece for that. And that's part of Premium, is the whole pipelining piece for that.
Rich, do you have anything to add on the Azure Lifecycle Management part of it?
Application Lifecycle Management?
Yes.
Sorry. It's hard. There's too many similar sounding words in this environment. The Application Lifecycle Management piece, it allows you to regulate instead of having a finance team building their own reports in their own little bubble, if I have enterprise level reports that I need to really control the deployment and the timing, and I cannot let people just update them on their own whims, I can add in this pipeline management, which allows me to quickly and easily start from a place of development, actually start from any direction, right? You can start from a production quality and go backwards. So if you started already as a finance team or somebody else, and you say, hey, we need more controls around this, you can start at the prod and then roll it backwards, and then create the whole pipeline, or the other way around, dev to prod, and go forward. So very flexible as far as how you engage with it and how you roll it out. As well as then access levels and limitations around not only who can access the pipeline at certain stages, but who can access the workspaces where the content's stored.
And it can be suited for any group, small or large, whether it's 1 or 2 people or 30 and 50.
Absolutely. And then also all this stuff is Audit can be automated as well
Yeah.
with the very robust APIs. All these features you talk about, it's all available for the most part in the API, and it's always improving. From what my experience.
Yeah, so skipping topics here a little bit, we talk about automation. So one of the things you can get out of the premium capacity is an automatic insights. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Sure.
Dieter?
With the automatic insights, you have your data you're presented in your report, your Power BI report. With a simple clickable button, it can actually bring in insights it finds through its own machine learning piece to give you insights. I think I recently did a report on diseases and across a broad spectrum. Click on the button, the insight reads that data in, you give it you say, I want to look at these two things. It actually gives you graphical insights on it. It says, this is important, or here's a correlation I found for you. So it really does some behind the scenes machine learning for you.
But then that's not just, if I recall correctly, right? It gives you a series of options.
Yes.
And then you can lock that
You
in.
can
If
pick
you
and
like
choose.
one, you
Yeah,
can
you like
pull it
one,
in.
you keep
Yeah.
it. You
Yeah.
throw away the rest, but it gives you a whole scrolling list of charts, graphs, numbers, facts.
And so when I pull that into a report and make it my own, does that have all the DAX and everything pre-calculated
It's already
for you? So then you
pre-built
can
into it.
further customize it if you need
And
to.
once you publish that report, you can actually refresh it. And once the data changes, so does the analytics behind it. So the
Okay.
insight changes with it.
Cool.
Microsoft's good about those things. Even, I noticed in PowerPoint too, like
Yeah.
a little bit of a different platform, of course, altogether. But they suggest like, hey, I see you're presenting like SWOT data.
I
Here's
do
like
that all the time.
15 different versions of this SWOT
I'm building
data.
something and it's going, hey, you know what? You could make this chart. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I like that. That's the same thing with the insights here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One of the other things here, refreshing data, I think with the basic license requires either manual or
Limited, yeah.
Well, manual, you can refresh. I think it's unlimited manual refreshes.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But that's always, in my experience, that's been kind of a challenge to kind of get end users comfortable with that.
Yeah.
It's clunky. So yeah, eight refreshes in the pro space, and then if you go to premium, you get 48 per day.
Yep.
And then so you can, and those can all be scheduled. So whether you're scheduling it 8 times or 48 times, depending on your license level, you can do it yourself or
Yeah, there was a
automate.
limited number of schedules you had, but now
Yeah.
you're much broader window. For
And the
that.
schedule is very flexible. It's not just general X number of times a day. You can literally say, I want it at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Like pick your own times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if the boss is walking in at 9:45, you can have
You could
it.
customize
Yeah,
it for your C-suite. Yep.
Yep. All right. And from a security standpoint, I know you can bring your own key encryption. So I see this as being important potentially in like government space or,
Mhm.
like high-end security where data level security, like, hey, I want my data encrypted. I want any access to my reports encrypted.
Mhm.
That I understand that's a Power BI feature. I guess I'll throw this one to Dieter.
Yeah, that's another feature of Premium is allow you to on the back end bring your own keys and your own security piece for that, but also ensure that data is secure when you do the reporting side of it as well. So another additional bump in Premium with that.
Yeah, mainly, and again, that's niche spaces,
Yeah.
bigger enterprise. You've got your own, certificate authorities, and you have your own trusted key stores and such that you want to make sure you
Yeah, you don't need
integrate
them,
with that.
right? But you
Right.
you could bring.
You don't want to have to bring in and trust me, even though Microsoft's all signed off on everything and they're vetted. It's like, hey, I got my own security ecosystem. I'd like to continue using
continue using it.
it and have it be trusted with my own hybrid environment.
Some of the things you had to roll your own on in basic was like the audit log or the access log, right? You have to, you were kind of forced to use PowerShell and
Mhm.
whatnot. Correct me if I'm wrong here, you guys, but you can migrate to more of an Azure log analytics if you have the Power BI Platinum or feature, excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I'll jump on this again. So most of what I've done is with the PowerShell side, so using the audit log, there's Power BI audit log as well as the Microsoft 365 overall audit log, both of which have various information, typically on a rolling 90-day window. And so you want to be able to scrape that off, and you can scrape that off with Power Automate, PowerShell.
Yeah.
Really pick your own flavor of how you can script it. It's all RESTful APIs, so very flexible what you can consume it with. But then yes, you can collect it off and put it in your own data store. So if you want to store it in SQL Server, a data lake, somewhere like that, and you can meet your own regulatory compliances and generate your reports for whatever needs you might
Yeah,
have.
get a deeper insight about what's going on in your environment, whether it's 365 or Power BI. Either one.
Exactly. Now, Dieter, I know you've been working more with the the Azure side of things. So
Yeah.
the power, pretty much everything in Microsoft is based on their other technologies, right? So Azure is their cloud platform, so it makes sense that Power BI is kind of running on top of
Yeah,
that.
Power BI sits on top of all the Azure.
Yeah.
You can pull directly from the Azure data store space and get all the insights. That the deep level insight about who's doing what, when, and how much. It's good for keeping track of how your Power BI audience is doing. How good is a report? Is it being used? Who's really hitting all your data and how your workspaces are? So
it's kind of nice because by default that's there, but it's kind of in there. It's in a
It's
self-managed or automatically managed platform or storage account for you. So you can make, if you have your own storage account, if you have Azure expertise in house, you can do
extract
it yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you can use that expertise to extract it into a named container that you control. Azure Log Analytics to run all the reports you want. So again, it really depends on what skill sets you have in house and what would be the best fit for how you want to get that
We
stuff.
even expose that data set to the larger groups, so finance, whatever department it is, and they do their own reporting saying, hey, my workspace is doing well because I've got these number of people using the reports. It's more than last month and more than a year ago. So
So workspace is doing well. Good topic to move to. So I understand that again with Power BI Premium, you get more storage, you can get more memory. I think a trap some of our customers and some people who've deployed Power BI get to is like, hey, I put too many reports into one space and has trouble scaling with it. But for short-term pain removal, you can get more, correct me if I'm wrong, more storage on that. And you just talked about like workspace management. So you get more deployment options, I understand. We get more memory options, I understand, and ability to manage that creep of features of data and whatnot. Can you delve into that a little
more
bit?
flexibility in your workspace environment, how much you can keep in that, how much your data set wise for Power BI data sets.
Yeah.
It goes up from 2 gig to 25 gig, I think, depending upon that for the premium.
Mhm.
So it gives you more options. Basically, with premium, more options, more features, more content.
And then it goes beyond that too. I mean, with the premium capacity, you get the full selection of all the features that are available, including like custom embedding, custom development, if you want to integrate into your own application and then stuff like that. So even that could be piecemeal. So if you're just building an application and want to add reporting to it, you could do that through a premium capacity. I say that in quotes because it's like an Azure application based one, but it's all kind of the same thing. So there's a lot of flavors depending upon what you're trying to do.
Right. I think you mentioned earlier with the premium per user, you don't need to jump in full on in the deep end. You can sort of walk your way into the whole premium space for that.
Yeah, if you have a few users that need the premium features and everyone else doesn't, let's give
Premium
them
for users
buy a
like
couple
that.
very affordable licenses to get them going. Yeah.
The licensing is a little confusing, which is why we want to, put a couple videos out onto this series.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, any closing thoughts or any other thing that we didn't cover on the premium side that's worth mentioning?
I'd say that my philosophy has always been try to be as out of the box as possible and try to only use what you actually need. Like you don't have to go and buy the top of the line premium capacity just because it sounds great. Really assess who your audiences are, what they need, what they're looking for, and you can even do a lot of workarounds. So I've got a couple instances where I've created reports with Power BI Pro. Had some users that needed access to the results of those reports, but they didn't really need the interactivity. They just needed to keep awareness. So I would automatically run the report to my inbox, and then I would send out a simple Outlook rule that would forward it to everyone that needed it. So a real, pretty rough solution there, but it got the job done and it met their needs, right? So without having to buy licenses for everyone and things like that. So there's a lot of ways to use these tools and stretch the buck a little bit.
And as you grow and as you build out your things, you can use your premium per user or the other features to get that sort of added bump in your performance of your environment. So
Absolutely.
Very good, gentlemen. I appreciate you coming together again today.
always good to get together.
I'm glad to be here.
Richard, thank you. Dieter, thank you.
Thank you, Charles.
And check out our website for more updates.